former President Trump,
Yeah.
claiming that the Biden administration spent $8 million making mice transgender. This isn't about scientists
Yeah.
trying to change a mouse's gender identity.
Right.
That's just not how this works.
Exactly.
What we're really looking at is how scientific terms can be misused.
Yeah.
And then how all of that can get mixed up with politics.
So Trump made this claim during his address to Congress back in March.
Yeah.
He specifically called out this $8 million figure.
Right. As an example of government waste.
Uh-huh.
Then the White House backed him up with a statement and even called fact checkers fake news losers. So things got heated really quickly.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that's a pretty quick jump to labeling and just discrediting anyone who questions it.
So what is the research in question?
So the reason
Where does this $8 million figure come from?
the White House pointed to 6 grants from the NIH as evidence.
Right.
But when you look at the grants, they're mainly focused on studying how hormones impact different health conditions that affect people.
Okay.
Things like asthma, cancer.
If the research is about human health, then why are mice involved at all?
So that's where the difference between transgenic and transgender comes in. Transgender refers to a person's gender identity.
Okay.
Transgenic is a scientific term.
Okay.
Transgenic mice are lab mice that have been genetically modified. Scientists can tweak the genes of these mice to make them better models for studying how diseases work in humans.
Okay.
Imagine if you could slightly adjust a mouse's genes to study how a new asthma medication might work in humans.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing we're talking about.
So some of the research that the White House mentioned was actually using these transgenic mice, not mice undergoing any kind of gender transition.
Exactly.
Okay, so it seems like this mix-up, this blurring of transgenic and transgender is at the heart of this misleading claim.
It seems that way.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about the $8 million figure?
Yeah.
How'd they come up with that?
Essentially, they added up the budgets of all 6 of those NIH grants.
Okay.
However, that's misleading.
Okay.
It's like taking the cost of your groceries, your rent, your vacation, and saying you spent it all on one thing.
So they're lumping together research projects that aren't really related.
And it gets worse.
Okay.
These grants have different goals and timelines.
Okay. Yeah.
Fact checkers found that the actual amount of money going towards research directly related to how hormones affect the immune system was much less than 8 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it seems like someone took some scientific terms, maybe didn't quite understand them, and then used those terms to create a story that isn't really accurate.
It certainly seems that way.
Is that what we're dealing with here?
And it raises some important questions about how we communicate science to the public, especially when politics gets involved.
Yeah. How do we keep things accurate but also understandable?
Yeah.
And what happens when scientific funding gets caught in the middle of political debates?
Exactly.
It seems like this whole situation is just the tip of the iceberg.
And that's exactly what we'll be unpacking in the next part of our deep dive.
All right.
We'll explore the broader implications of this and how it connects to larger issues of scientific communication and political discourse. Stay tuned, because this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just finished talking about how this transgender mice claim seems to be based on a misunderstanding of some scientific terms.
Yeah.
Now let's zoom out a bit. What's the bigger picture here?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. It seems like this goes beyond just one misleading statement.
This situation highlights the immense challenge of communicating complex scientific research to the public.
A complex issue gets oversimplified. Key terms get mixed up, and suddenly you have a story that's gone viral but isn't grounded in the reality of the research.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
And this kind of distortion can have very real consequences, particularly when it comes to funding.
So you mean like if people believe the transgender mice story, it might affect how they view scientific research and whether they support funding for it?
Precisely.
Okay.
When research gets caught in the crossfire of political debates, it can directly influence which projects receive funding,
right,
what areas of science are prioritized,
yeah,
and ultimately what discoveries are made.
So it's not just about spreading misinformation. It's about shaping public perception,
Yes.
which can then have this ripple effect on the direction.
It's scientific progress.
You've got it. Whole situation is so concerning.
Yeah.
It underscores the importance of critical thinking and media literacy in today's information landscape.
Okay, so what can we do about it?
We need to embrace critical thinking.
Okay.
Don't just passively accept information at face value. Question the source, look for evidence.
Okay.
And consider different perspectives.
So science is an ongoing process of discovery.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's the best tool we have for understanding the world around us.
Right.
And when we politicize it, when we twist it to fit our own agendas, we do a disservice not only to science itself, but to society as a whole.
We hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought and encouraged you to keep asking questions and exploring the complexities of the world around us. Till next time.